God, what a beautiful day. Okay, who's next?
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my full Boys Gen V Season 2 Episode 7 video. There were a ton of Easter eggs and references, WTF moments, so we'll break it all down. You could definitely tell how close to the finale we're getting with how messed up things are getting for all the characters. They're definitely trying to top the main show as much as possible. They should give out awards each season for which show winds up being the most traumatizing to everyone. But the episode title was Hell Week, a reference to fraternity, sorority, Greek life initiation periods, the core period where they get put through the ringer, like all the crazy rituals, wild challenges. Usually when you hear about a kid dying because of some fraternity or sorority practice, it's something that happens during Hell Weeks, some crazy thing they make them do. I was actually in a fraternity during college. We actually didn't get nearly as crazy, obviously, as what you see during The Boys because everything is so heightened on Godolkin like in The Boys universe. Thankfully, nobody died because of any kind of Greek life practice at any fraternity or sorority while I was at school. During the actual episode, it is their Hell Week, and Sam is put in charge of the pledge in the diaper, the butthole pledge who comes out of the dude's pocket universe inside his butthole. There were a lot of butt jokes in the episode. Loved the joke continuity with the butt stuff this season. Really gross type of humor in the tone of The Boys, but very, very good continuity from a writer's standpoint. Comedy comes in threes. But because it is Hell Week, he's put in charge of that pledge, and his one job, he was given one job by Rufus to make sure that he didn't die, and he failed, because he was killed by Thomas Godolkin at the end of the episode. So RIP to that pledge, probably gonna get written up pretty bad for that. The actual opening scene starts inside one of Annabeth's visions. We see what they look like from her perspective. She's basically seeing the end of the episode with her healing Thomas Godolkin and what happens as a result of that, all the death that will come of it, and basically her passing out because she uses her powers so much. Basically, full-on mutant apocalypse happening during the finale that Annabeth is seeing play out. We literally just got the X-Men 97 Season 2 trailer because it was New York Comic Con this past weekend. I just did a video for it, so I'll link it at the end of this and down in the description below. But Apocalypse is the big villain during that season. He also brings about a mutant apocalypse because he's all about the strongest surviving, which is basically what Thomas Godolkin is doing on the show. He's pulling an Apocalypse move from the classic X-Men comics. Only the strongest shall survive.
The old world passes away. Together we shall forge a new one in fire and blood.
We've actually talked about this before. The Gen V show actually takes more references from the X-Men comics and that side of the Boys' original comic books. The Boys comics do have their own versions of X-Men parodies. They're called the G-Men. The evil version of Professor X during the Boys comics is literally called Godolkin. It's the same basic character, but they've changed him for the TV show. In the comics, he doesn't have the same type of powers. But on the show, he basically is an evil Professor X, evil, powerful telepath. Annabeth then wakes up and everyone figures out that Maria is left to confront Godolkin along with Kate. Stan Edgar, nice enough to let them borrow his car, but not nice enough to cameo again because they didn't want to pay the actor's fee because he's expensive, like very, very famous actor. You gotta pay a lot of money to get him to cameo on your show. Kate argues with Marie, wanting to redeem herself, proving that she's changed since the events of Season 1. Marie claims that she can't heal her with her powers yet, but really just admits that it's more about not fully trusting Kate, because literally right after this, she heals Polarity and then does it with Thomas Godolkin as well. Part of the idea is that they've been putting Kate on this redemption arc. She's been trying to redeem herself all season. So because they're kind of setting her up as the Jean Grey or Emma Frost this season to Thomas Godolkin's Professor X, they will probably have a telepath mind-space battle in the finale at some point. Annabeth goes with Jordan when they say that Sam can super jump there faster than they can drive. That's a reference to the Hulk's powers in the Marvel comics and in the Avengers movies. We've actually seen him do that a couple times in live action. Because the Hulk is so strong, he can jump crazy distances and just uses that as a way to quick travel. Annabeth confirms that she saw her parents then being killed by Marie in a vision before it happened when they were children. Got a lot of questions about this last week. Big reveal, like, wait a minute, if she got her powers when she was a little kid, did she see her parents dying? And the answer now is yes. She actually says that that's haunted her ever since then because she didn't try to stop the vision from coming to pass, and she's been living with that her whole life. And it's part of the reason why she's been so angry at Marie, because really she's been angry at herself for not actually doing anything. Part of the vibe is it seemed like she actually hated herself, like she hates her powers, and part of the idea of her talk with Jordan is that Jordan wants to let her know that she also used to hate her powers as well too, but then eventually grew to love them. And so I think that's the idea with Annabeth too. Eventually she will grow to accept her powers and then heal her relationship with Marie. Speak of the devil again, they go to Thomas Godolkin's house, the Dean's house. The reason why both the doors were open was because they fled to escape Polarity, who came after them and can counteract Thomas Godolkin's psychic powers. There are a couple examples of Marie using her powers in slightly different ways in this episode, mostly to set up the finale twist too, and probably The Boys Season 5 if she cameos during The Boys Season 5. First, she uses her powers to sense Polarity's heartbeat without realizing that it's him she's sensing from a little ways away, like there's a proximity effect. He's still injured from his major power burst in last week's episode, which he claims he can use to keep Thomas Godolkin from controlling his mind and possibly everyone else's too, which they then later confirm. There's a little talk of him sacrificing himself for everyone else to save everyone else unless Marie heals him, which she then does. She heals the micro tears in his brain. On the other side of campus, Cipher, or really Thomas Godolkin talking through Cipher's meat puppet body, confirms the reason Polarity's powers are able to counter his telepathy are because his magnetic pulse is able to interrupt neurons all through their brains, which is the basis for how his telepathy works. So it's basically like putting up a jamming field, area of effect style. Then the whole reason why Cipher thinks about killing Godolkin is because Godolkin thinks that his plan might be screwed, or his and Sage's plan might be screwed, and he's thinking about committing suicide as his only option. So he'd be killing himself. That's why he's crying a little, because he's afraid to die. He's a little too afraid to actually do it. So you have to remember, it's the same way in all the episodes when there were scenes like this before. Like previously, we actually saw Cipher beating Thomas Godolkin's body. Really, it was him beating himself, like slapping himself in the face. Notice he then mentions that Sage was correct in her predictions that Marie would return. There are a couple references to Sage later in the episode too, like, she's so annoying being so smart all the time. She called all your shots, she called all the moves, everything that you were going to do. When he mentions they're going to need a very big sacrifice, that is the fight that then goes down later in the episode. When Marie and Kate explain why they came back to campus is because they still incorrectly at this point believe Cipher is still holding Thomas Godolkin hostage, when in reality, it's the other way around. Obviously, all of our theories were confirmed. I think most people assumed this after the first 2 episodes, maybe even earlier than that. So at least at this part of the episode, Marie still thinks that they're trying to save Thomas Godolkin and then heal his body so he can help them stop Cipher, when really that's them just playing into Sage's master plan, Sage and Godolkin's master plan. When she says the enemy of my enemy is my friend, even though she's wrong about who's controlling who here with Cipher and Godolkin, maybe this means the real Cipher, who says his name is Doug Brightbill and has a red Honda Civic and a cat named Buster, hopefully that cat is still alive. Maybe he'll want to get revenge on Thomas Godolkin for what he did to him all these years and help them take him down.
I just want to live because he's finally out of my head.
Sam then makes it back to campus, revealing that Emma took a ride in his pocket, all kinds of naked, because of the way her powers work. He runs into Rufus, who reminds him that it is Hell Week for their fraternity, giving the episode its title. He says the name of the thing inside the thing, everybody point at the screen, doing the meme, and reveals as part of Hell Week, they've been storing the pledges inside the pocket dimension in the dude's butthole. It's super messed up in traditional boys fashion, but I love the joke continuity, like I said. Like, comedy comes in threes, they just keep referencing this dude's weird powers. Probably the most messed up WTF thing that's happening here, though, is that he drops Trow in the middle of the quad, and the pledge climbs out of his butt, and nobody but Emma seems like they care or notice. Like, that's how messed up it is at this university, Godolkin, that nobody thinks that this is that weird. Sam's mission then is to take care of Butthole Pledge and keep him from dying, which he absolutely fails at the end of the episode. You only had one job. There's a couple love triangle moments here too when Greg shows up, the helpful boyfriend character. Very timely joke saying Sam's deep up Vought's butthole too. Like, lots of butt jokes in this episode just in general. You can definitely tell that one of the writers on staff is having a lot of fun with this. Then Polarity argues with Marie, trying to get her to heal Kate's powers, thinking that she can help them, and takes all the blame on him for what happened to Andre. So this is them just trying to pay off Andre's arc this season with the reason that he died. Like, who is to blame for Andre dying? When his father Polarity says that he's really the one that they should be blaming, is because if you remember in season 1, he kept pushing Andre to be inside the Vought system. Like, no, do what they tell you, be part of this. He also says he never told Andre about the micro tears in his brain being a possible threat. So, like, there's just all these things that he did not do for Andre that he should have done as a loving father. Then if it wasn't clear why Cipher knew that Marie was going to be there to pick up the phone in his office, it's because Thomas Godolkin, through Cipher's body, had the camera system that he was monitoring all over campus, so he just could see her in his office. He reminds her about the deal that he's made with her, continue to train with him to become more powerful, and he'll spare everyone else. But he still plans on culling the hurt, like that's going to happen no matter what. Annabeth has more visions of the fight in the training room, Godolkin eventually taking control of Marie with his telepathy powers, basically everybody dying in giant pools of blood. There are a couple more love triangle moments with Sam, Emma, and Greg. He explains that he has a lot of growing left to do, which he fully admits to. Going to spend some time working on himself between seasons now, right after they stop the giant mutant apocalypse that's about to happen. Love the way Butt Baby is left standing there wondering what to do, like thinking he's going to fail Hell Week and they'll kick him out of the frat if he doesn't catch up to Sam. Like, oh no, they're going to kick me out. Then there's another example of Marie using her powers in a couple new, more powerful ways. She picks out Godolkin's heartbeat from a greater distance away because it's like a very old man's heartbeat, claiming that he's about to die, which is what Sage was referencing in the earlier episode when she said that he was running out of time. His original old man body was about to fail. This is why they needed Marie to heal the body quickly. Then Marie bloodbends the rest of the Scooby Gang, trying to get Kate to mind control them so that they'll go away, which doesn't wind up working because they come after her right after this. But the other big thing here is Annabeth being truthful about what happened when they were kids, seeing their parents die in a vision and not doing anything about it before Marie accidentally killed them, and feeling remorseful about that her entire life, and also seeing the vision of Marie seemingly dying, although I think that they're all misinterpreting her vision of the future. Part of the idea, I think, is that Marie, in going by herself, is just playing into that vision, ultimately making it a self-fulfilling prophecy. It is a very long-running trope of TV and movies that everybody misinterprets prophecy, and ultimately they wind up becoming self-fulfilling prophecies. Like everyone's actions to try and avoid prophecies always lead to them coming about.
Ironic.
Cipher's whole quote to Polarity about the kids culling themselves, like, oh, the kids are going to be using those weapons on themselves, is an idea that Thomas Godolkin will mind control everyone to fight each other to the death, which we actually get a little preview of during the fight that happens inside the training room here. Most of you probably clocked what was really going on here during all the fight scenes and what was going on with Cipher and Thomas Godolkin, but he literally just spells it out, like he kind of explains everything in so many terms. Polarity's Magneto attack wasn't able to stop Cipher because Godolkin doesn't experience pain when he's in his body because it's only his mind inside Cipher's body. Marie then heals Thomas Godolkin's body, and while this is happening, Godolkin controls the kids' bodies using their powers to fight each other, but it seems like he can only control one of them at a time in addition to Cipher, so technically 2 people at a time. So you kind of see what his plan is for the culling later. He'll probably start with one person, then they'll start fighting each other, and it'll turn into a much bigger battle royale situation, with the weaker ones getting picked off. When Polarity stops Godolkin's telepathy briefly using his powers again, he's forced back into only his own mind, but because his body is healed, he doesn't need Meat Puppet Cipher anymore. Then the end of the episode was basically Thomas Godolkin in his freshly healed body confirming all of our theories all season long, like it pretty much exactly the way that people were predicting. Real Cipher comes to saying that his name is Doug Brightbill. Notice his voice also changes octave too, just a little bit. He talks about losing his job at Blockbuster, living in his Honda Civic, the cat that hopefully is still alive that he has somewhere. There isn't a real clear timeline, but the Blockbuster mention and Marie's picture from her birth in the early 2000s lets you know that at some point before the early 2000s, that's when he gained control of his body here. Also love the deep cut Blockbuster shout out. I still have my Blockbuster card in real life. It's in one of my drawers. I found it. It's a collector's item now. Let me know if you still have your Blockbuster card. While this is happening, simultaneously, Godolkin is having the conversation with the kids saying that Sage is annoyingly smart because she predicted that all this would play out in this way. Kate is the first one of them to realize that Godolkin was behind this all, like, no, he's the guy. He's been behind it this whole time. when he gives her that very creepy look as he lets them leave. Notice he let them leave. It's also probably because he wonders if they are going to survive the culling. So he doesn't mind if they survive, if they wind up being stronger, because it will mean that they're stronger. He wants the strongest to survive. He's being full apocalypse to make all the X-Men references. Then they bring the episode full circle with the diaper butt pledge because Thomas Godolkin is also wearing a diaper. Hilarious, totally messed up at the same time. When he says he looks too old to be a pledge, Godolkin was one of the founding members of the fraternity that this kid is trying to pledge right now during Hell Week, who says he can turn his feet into hands and thus making him an inferior suit down in the bottom 2%, as he says, using his telepathy to force him to choke himself to death, making Sam fail his one job he was given by Rufus. Rufus going to be real pissed about this. There are a couple more ironic jokes when they play the Sinatra song Young at Heart because he is over 100 years old as he walks to the crowd in the quad saying, "Who is next?" So part of the idea is that the finale will basically be the culling, like it'll be battle royale situation. We will see how much money they spent on the budget, like how big is the battle going to wind up being, like how big is this X-Men apocalypse going to be? Probably the other big question in all this too is how will Homelander react when he learns what's going on? Because he will also probably have to come to campus the way he did during season 1, or maybe it'll be somebody else, like maybe Homelander will cameo in some different type of way. Also, what is going to happen to Sage in the finale too, because there's some footage we've seen in the trailers where she talks about this not being the plan that we haven't seen in episodes yet. So there'll just be a couple big cameos probably for Boys Season 5 relevant stuff. Also, how is Homelander going to react to how powerful Marie is now getting and what Thomas Godolkin is now doing? It sounds like Homelander going to be really pissed about all this. There are just a lot of big storylines that they need to wrap up and also push into Season 5. Like, what is Marie's role during The Boys Season 5 going to be? Will she actually cameo during Season 5? My early assumption right now is that Thomas Godolkin does get killed by somebody in the finale, probably Marie in the Scooby Gang, maybe Homelander as well though. Everybody let me know in the comments, who do you think kills Thomas Godolkin in the finale? Homelander, the Scooby Gang, Marie, somebody else, or some other crazy way? And do you want to see a Gen V Season 3, or do you just want to see these characters go somewhere else after this if they don't do a Season 3? We'll also talk about that too after the finale, whether or not there will actually be a Season 3. What'll happen is next week my finale video will post after they release it, then I'll start doing more Boys Season 5 videos. What'll probably happen is it'll be like the Season 1 finale where they started promoting the next season of The Boys just because there was more direct crossover with that next season, and this is meant to lead into The Boys Season 5 with its storyline. There's a bunch of stuff coming up this week. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss anything. Everybody click here for that X-Men 97 Season 2 trailer video, and click here for my Daredevil Born Again Season 2 trailer video with Jessica Jones. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.